What's going on, guys? Sharpshot here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 beginner survivor mistakes that are super easy to fix in Dead by Daylight. This is a beginner's guide to people that are newer to the game. So if you're a veteran to DBD, you'll probably know most of these, but maybe you won't have known one of these and you'll have learned and become that much better at DBD. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to list the beginner survivor mistake and explain why this is bad to do, and then I'm going to list what you guys should be doing instead. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first beginner tip I have is don't farm. Farming is basically when you unhook a survivor and the killer is right there next to you and immediately downs the unhooked survivor. You definitely don't want to be doing that, obviously, because it hurts that specific survivor and it'll probably make them die quicker in the game, and hurts all of the survivors in the game because that's just one less survivor that's alive and it hurts your chances at escaping. This also negatively affects you because farming a survivor takes points away from your rank, so you basically end up getting less blood points and less pips because of it. Instead, wait till you can't see the killer or you can't hear their terror radius before unhooking a survivor. The second tip is don't try and self unhook. When you get hooked, you have 3 chances to self unhook and you have a 4% base chance of unhooking yourself. Obviously, this is super low. If you use all 3 tries every single time, you're gonna guarantee yourself getting into the struggle phase and you'll be 1 hook off of dying. Instead, you should wait for your other survivors to come unhook you. And a good little tip I have is that if you don't see any survivors coming to help you out when you're about to enter the struggle phase, you can use one of your self unhook tries, and who knows, maybe you will end up escaping. The third tip I have is don't crawl when you're in the dying state. When a killer is slugging and doesn't pick someone up right away when they're in the dying state, I see so many survivors try and crawl to the corner of the map without trying to heal up before crawling away. You definitely shouldn't do this, because if a survivor is in a chase and trying to come back to quickly bring you back up, they won't be able to do that because they won't have the time to fully bring you back up. Instead, you should fully heal before even crawling or trying to move away, because if a survivor does come back to you and they have pressure from the killer, they'll actually be able to bring you back up. The fourth tip I have is don't always run to a corner of the map to heal. Running to the corner of the map to heal wastes so much time, especially if you could quickly heal right under the hook after you get unhooked or right next to a gen after you finish it. Instead, you should wait for other survivors to heal you wherever that may be, or just keep playing injured. It isn't the end of the world, and there are some perks like resilience that actually reward you for playing injured. The fifth tip I have is don't fast vault objects outside of a chase. Whenever someone fast vaults an object like a pallet or a window, the killer gets a loud noise notification of where you vaulted that pallet or vaulted that window. If you're outside of a chase, you definitely don't want to reveal to the killer where you are. Instead, you should vault the window or the pallet without running, walk up to it, and then press the space button or the RB button on the controller to vault the object without actually fast vaulting it, and you won't trigger a loud noise notification. The sixth tip I have is don't drop all the pallets in the map early. Dropping pallets early in a chase actually makes the chase shorter, and it also makes it harder for other survivors who are looping around that area to actually escape the chase or prolong the chase because they don't have a pallet to loop around. When trying to loop around pallets, sometimes taking a hit is better than dropping the pallet early, especially if you're at a loop like the Killer Shack, which is arguably the best loop in the game. It has the best pallet too, so if you drop that pallet early, you're basically ruining the Killer Shack loop. Instead, loop around pallets as long as you can and try to drop the pallet at the last second, and if you take a hit instead of dropping the pallet, it's not the end of the world. The seventh tip I have is don't 3-gen. When the survivors have 1 gen left to complete, there's gonna be 3 possible gens that the survivors can do, and a 3-gen situation is when all 3 of those gens are the closest gens together. This is obviously really bad for the survivors because the killer can just patrol all 3 of those gens really quickly and constantly pressure all 3 of those gens to the point that you won't even have the chance to finish any of those gens. Instead, don't always do outside gens first. Try and do inside gens first if you can, because that limits the chance of you getting into a 3-gen, and doing inside gens is always better at the start of the game because some killers check the outside gens first before checking the inside, so you can get a lot of progress on the inside gens before doing the outside ones, which are obviously much easier to do. The 8th tip I have is don't open exit gates right away. If not everybody is at the gate and someone gets hooked or gets put in a dying state and you had opened the exit gate, now you only have a specific amount of time to help them out. If you had not opened the exit gate, you would have had all the time in the world to try and help them out. Opening the exit gate early puts a lot of pressure on the survivors to help the hooked or dying survivors really fast, which is not always good. Sometimes you want to take your time in helping out hooked survivors, especially if the killer is camping. Instead, 99 the exit gate, which basically means that you pull it down all the way up until the meter is almost full and wait until everybody is at a gate before opening it. This is really good because even if you do have pressure from the killer, you can quickly open it and escape. And if someone does get hooked or put in the dying state, you're going to be able to help them out without having the pressure of the exit gate timer against you. The ninth tip I have is don't immediately escape after the exit gates are opened. If not everybody is at the exit gate, you don't know if someone could be in a chase or someone's about to get hooked or put in the dying state. If you leave and they actually do get hooked or put in the dying state, this makes their chances of actually escaping way smaller because there's less survivors to actually go back and help them out. Instead, wait for everybody to be at the exit gate before actually escaping. If not everybody is there and someone actually does get hooked or put in the dying state, go back to help them out before escaping. The 10th and final tip I have is don't be toxic. This should kind of be obvious for any game you play, but being toxic to the killer and teabagging them or flashlighting them at a pallet will most likely get you tunneled and killed really early in the game. Being toxic in general makes for a really bad gaming experience for all the players around you, and everybody just wants to have fun playing DBD. So instead of being toxic to the killer and your teammates, be a good teammate, help out the other survivors, and help make DBD as fun as possible. So yeah guys, that's been the video. If you're a beginner, let me know if this video helped you out, and if you're a veteran and you stuck through the entire video, comment below some more tips to help out the beginners. I want this comment section to be a place where beginners can go to get as many good tips to improve as a Dead by Daylight player as possible. So yeah guys, that's been the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This has been Sharpshot, and I will see you guys in the next video.